You are listening to the Mobile, Alabama Business Podcast with Marcus Netto, created by Bluefish.
My name's Karen Simmons, and I was a CPA for 25 years. I'm a yaya. I have 2 grandchildren. Now I dabble in different businesses, and I'm having the time of my life.
Yay!
Yay.
I finally convinced her to come on the podcast, people. So she's here. Karen Simmons in the real flesh and blood. So I am very excited to have you here because I very much respect what you bring to the business community here. And so it is a pleasure to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, and you humble me. I don't see anything different about what I do. I choose to multitask, multi-business.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You be you, boo.
Yeah.
And I'll be me. And the more projects I seem to have going on, the happier I am.
And that is for sure. She walks in today and tells me you sold two buildings in a business.
I did.
Since the last time we saw each other.
Since Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've, the smile on your face tells me a lot, but I know that even though you've sold some responsibility, that you probably have some ideas about growing, the other aspects of what you have going on.
And that's why I did it.
Yeah.
The one, and I'm not going to say anything about it yet.
Sure.
It's very small. Not many people even know about it, so it's not affecting any of my clients and friends. And I want to concentrate more in the areas that I'm the best at.
Yep.
And I see a huge need in Mobile right now for what I'm developing. And it encompasses everything I already have.
Well, and I'm going to get you right in there in a second, but I want to, the thing that I kind of wanted to hit on with you is this idea of you have finally figured out what it is that makes you tick, happy, what you want to focus on, however you want to describe it, and you're zeroing in on it. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure it's been quite the journey to get there. But what would you say to somebody that, they're still trying to figure that out?
Give it to God. I've done it. When I was part of a big firm, CPA firm, worked myself all the way up to partner, and then was miserable. I gave it to God. The next day, something happened, and it was a sign. Yeah. I was totally exhausted in a tax season in 2019. Gave it to God on the way home because I don't remember driving home because I was crying, exhausted, and beat up. And the next day, my second person who I talked to this week, because I respect him so much, came in and said, I don't want to work this hard. April 15th is my last day. And I said, I can't do this anymore. That was on March 15th, corporate due date. And so that was my sign. And so, you got to sit back. Quit trying so hard for what you think you want to do.
It's interesting that you say it that way.
I do. My sister one time she had a daycare with 60 kids, and she said, I don't know if I can keep doing this. I don't know, but what else would I do? The thoughts everybody has. And I said, for the next 30 days, it was the first of the month, it just happened. I said, at the end of every day, do a smiley face or a frown face. At the end of a month, how many more do you have of the other? Mm-hmm. And if you have more frown faces, you are not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Because people say, why do you work so hard? I hate the word work.
Yeah.
I enjoy so much when I did realize I don't miss tax returns, but I miss the people. I miss the conversations. I miss the wins. Yeah. Man, the intuition of just are seeing patterns and numbers and stuff and going, well, there it is.
Well, so let me translate for the people that are listening.
Okay.
All right. So you had a CPA firm and were very successful in that CPA firm.
Yes.
And realized that you don't like the historical perspective of what the numbers tell you, but that you are very good at looking at numbers and being able to tell almost a path or a future and where the business is heading and what they need to do or what they don't need to do in order to guide themselves and have a more prosperous and successful year.
That is so insightful that I have never thought about it that way. So thank you. It's true.
Am I right? Okay.
Yeah. So, now that I think about it.
And so I love that because my relationship as a business owner, not knowing that about CPAs, caused my relationship with CPAs to always kind of be this antagonistic, because I always had expectations that they were going to, hey, here's what you need to do. Here are the things that we need to do to set you up for next year, blah, 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 whatever. Mm-hmm. And we never got there.
I've always said after December 31, it's too late.
Yeah.
It's too late, especially if you're cash basis.
Yeah.
And so why do you want to do that? And what I'm seeing now is, now that I got to step back, let me stop for just a second. Yeah. One time, a businessman, he was going through something, and we were out, and he said, well, you never called me. I said, does your doctor or lawyer call you? How do I know there's a problem unless you reach out?
Yeah.
And so, fighting with the government's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And I got tired of doing it for something that happened in the past, and you're absolutely right.
And that isn't really even, you're kind of somewhat responsible, but it's not your business.
But you still take it on because they're trusting you with their stuff.
Yeah.
But I do miss the strategy part and the financials. And where do you want to be in 5 years? I would ask so many people that. And then somebody could turn around and call me a tax lady. And I'm not a tax lady. No. I never was. I'm the most non-stereotypical CPA that you could have found.
Yeah.
I punched one guy in the arm because he did something stupid one time, a client.
I'm sure he didn't mind.
I do have a funny story.
What's up?
Okay. So, client told me one time, I said something snarky to him, and he goes, you would not believe what happened. He said, remember when you called me or text me such and such? I said, yeah. He said, I looked at my phone and I said, that bitch. The person next to me I was talking with said, who are you talking about, my CPA? He said, man, my CPA's a bitch too. They were both my clients. True story.
Yeah, no, you do. And I oftentimes wonder, are you from Mobile?
Yeah.
You're from the South?
I am.
Okay, because I always get a lot of, especially from my fiance, Chrissy, I always get shit about being an asshole. And I find that I think people from the North are just a little bit, Northeast specifically, I don't know if it's the cold winters or whatever, but we're just a little bit more direct, and we just don't have all the niceties that the Southerners have. It's not all sweet tea and that stuff.
I grew up in the best place off Dolphin Island Parkway with no air conditioning and no heat.
Okay,
and I helped to raise my brother and sister, and there were a few bars I picked my daddy up from.
Yeah, hard knock life.
So, I took care of mom until my sister started taking care of her. And so you do what you got to do, and I ain't got time for bullshit.
Yeah. But I love it.
If you ask me a question, if you text me a question, I'm going to say yes or no, if it's a yes or no.
You speak my language, that's for sure. Yeah. But no, I have very much appreciated, because we had some meetings last year, and I very much appreciated you sharing, that going back to that insight of CPA versus CFO kind of role. It didn't occur to me that there was a difference between the two, and I've been searching for this person that was. I'm a creative, right? Barely a business owner. And so you start talking to me about financials, and I'm just kind of like I can read a profit and loss statement. I know a bank, I know how to deal with banks, all that stuff. But really, it's this area in business that most people look at and go, oh my God, I really just, I don't know this as well as I should. And I read books on it, and it doesn't
I disagree with that statement.
What's that?
Those financial statements are what you do. Okay? So you need to stick with what you do, but you need to have a friend.
Agreed.
Consultant, whatever, that can hear the voices coming out of the numbers.
Right.
Because they talk.
Yeah.
They tell the story of your business. If I look out over trends, I can tell you exactly when stuff happened.
Yeah.
And so finding that person that has the understanding, because why would I do my own webpage? Why would I do my own whatever?
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody should beat themselves up or just say, God, I got to get to know that. No, you don't. Yeah. Just find you somebody you can trust.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's, hiring to your weakness, in a sense. I just, for whatever reason, when it comes to business, it seems like, the finances are such a huge part, that in the past I've not had access to somebody, that was able to share, or had the ability to give me that information.
Don't make it a one-time thing, though.
Yeah, no,
because
for sure.
because your life's continuing to change, and so the numbers change.
Well, I don't intend on making it a
waves.
one-time thing.
I'm
hoping it wasn't a one-time thing.
But I suggest getting something scheduled, like the first Wednesday of every month. I know what client I'm at.
Yeah.
That morning.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk afterwards. So,
But
yeah.
it's for the listeners too, and it doesn't have to be me. I'm not trying to sell me. I'm just saying that it's.
Oh, I'm only worried about me. You guys got to worry about your own self, your own damn self. So, and if she gets busy, I'm getting in the door first. So everybody line up behind me. So let's go back a little bit, because I mean we kind of jumped right into it, and I think I wanted to give kind of people a feel of like who you are and where you're at and what you do and stuff. But why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? You said you're from Mobile. You said a little bit about your life, but where'd you go to high school? Did you go? Obviously, you went to college. Married. You mentioned your husband. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about who you are first?
Well, South Brooklyn, Palmer Pillins, BC Rain High School, 1984.
She's going to give me the Clip Notes version.
That's it. That's all there is.
Oh my
You don't want
gosh.
the in and outs. Hard childhood.
Yeah.
Me and my brother and sister are still all on our first marriages.
Good.
Mom left Dad 3 months before my wedding, so that's why me and my husband paid the bridesmaids back for their dresses and went to Vegas and got married in 1988. June will be 36 years.
I love it.
Had an ACT scholarship to South because I couldn't afford to go anywhere else.
Cool.
And then started in chemical engineering.
Really?
And none of those letters and those tables are in the words that they represent. It made no sense.
Yeah.
So I started partying, shooting a lot of pool, lost my scholarship,
Okay.
and then met a guy in a bar.
In 1987?
Beginning somewhere in 1986, I think.
Yeah.
And it moved pretty fast. He worked offshore. First 15 years we were together, we only saw each other 5 of them.
Oh, wow.
Because he was gone 2 weeks out of 3. We used to write letters. I wish we would write letters now.
Yeah.
I need to start that. And phone calls. And I didn't have a phone that I could take down to the beach,
Yeah.
it was landline.
You remember back to the day when phones were attached to walls and had cords, and the long distance cost went down after 10 or 11 o'clock or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, okay, now I can call. It's like 11:01. Okay, are you there? It's like, yeah, you don't remember those. Now it's just pick up the phone and like call whenever. Yeah,
I could hear mine ringing a minute ago.
yeah.
He got me back in school. He said, "You're too smart." He said,
Good on him.
I'm gone. Yeah. And has it been easy? No. It's hard as hell to be married sometimes. And I do believe in the every 7 years.
Yeah.
Our 7th, our 14th, our 21st was the worst.
The
And I think
worst.
only reason that 35th isn't is because we went through a 2-year battle with him for prostate cancer.
Yeah.
And I had 2 scares I had 2 times I've had vulva cancer. Wow. And people go, vulva? I said, yes, the V, exactly what you're thinking. Yeah. And I'm not scared to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's just another body part. And I did have me a shirt made that says, God love the tatas, but don't forget about the hoo-has. And I do wear that shirt because it is real. And I've since met other people who have had it.
Yeah.
And I've met people that told me later on that I went to the doctor because of you.
Wow.
And so I'm not scared of talking about it. It is what it is. His was, I never had chemo, had some awful stuff, but it wasn't chemo. And my husband's been clean about a year now.
Nice.
After 2 years
Yeah.
battle. God told me to get out of the CPA firm because then he got sick, COVID hit. There is no way in hell I'd want to deal with that bullshit the CPAs have to deal with now.
With the ERC and the PP,
All of it.
and all that stuff.
All
It's
of
just
it.
an
Well,
absolute mess.
if you file and get the ERTC, Employee Retention Tax Credit, you got to go back and amend that year's tax return it affected.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Well, no wonder this is full circle to what I'm doing.
Okay.
And how that works is the CPAs are so busy that they don't have time for the small companies. Smaller, however,
Right.
5, 10, 1 person, they don't have time for them.
Yeah.
And so getting a phone call back, I'm hearing all this stuff. For years, and especially on the podcast, I'd always say, if you find a need and you price it reasonably, you got yourself a business. Bottom line. So right now, we have Payroll Vault, which is doing great. Caitlin and Jimmy are rock stars. And Katie still helps out on projects and stuff, and I'm full in.
Yeah.
And then I have a bookkeeping company. And then I have the consulting. So whatever the need is, and some people are on monthly retainer because they want to pick up the phone and call whenever they can, and schedule visits.
Yep.
And so Yeah, I'm the liaison between your CPAs. So I have partnered up with 3 different, they're not together in one firm,
Yeah.
to fit personalities. And I get everything ready for the tax return and then hand it off.
Yeah, let them crunch the.
I don't even do my own tax returns
final
now.
numbers and stuff. Yeah. No, I just it's interesting to me because the financial aspect of running a business, and maintaining cash flow and stuff like that is something that most business owners are keenly focused on. And having somebody like you in their back pocket, it's just, it'd be key. I know for me it would be, because just because I've always felt like I don't have that background. Like I know words. I can put words together like you wouldn't believe. But when it comes to numbers, it's just like, like.
But the people who think they do and don't, but just don't want to admit that they don't, are the worst to work with.
Oh yeah. Because they're the ones that are
you just want me to tell you what we affirm whatever you think.
Yeah.
And I will never do that.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't want that.
I am so brutally honest to my own detriment sometimes, but I don't care.
I love it. All right, so go back in your history, in your mental bank here. What was your first job?
Oh, I sold fiberglass. That's why I became an accountant.
That was your first job?
My daddy was a fireman, and we had a big old backyard, Bayfront and Terrell Road, and he started a fiberglass business. He was always starting something.
Yeah.
And, he was at the fire station or in the bar.
Yeah.
So he said, you need to sell the stuff for me. I'd lay out the mat and the cloth and 50-gallon drums of acetone and the resin hardener. And I repaired a sailboat one time when I was about 13.
Nice.
And so I said, I'm not doing that because I knew he'd take my money. So I said, I get 10% of anything I sell. And he agreed.
Yeah.
Now, don't forget, I was 11 the first time I said fuck you to my dad. So
she's negotiating at 11 for 10%.
Well, I had to back it up, right? So I started a ledger, and I kept up the date, the sale, my cut, and I would take my cut off the top.
Nice.
And then I would hand him the rest. And so that lasted a little while. So then 13, 14, he decided to it was a little bit older than that. He decided to stop doing fiberglass and get a shrimp boat.
Okay.
So I was his deckhand.
Oh, gosh.
It is very cold at 3 o'clock in the morning in February.
I can't even imagine.
And so it wasn't automatic, so I would have to run up on top of the boat to do the rope with the winch to pull the nets up, and then I emptied the nets and I picked. And those tiny little catfish, they hurt worse than the big ones if you step on them. I don't know what it is, but yeah, pull a catfish out of my foot. But I will tell you what, by that time I'm about 15, I was hot. Man, up and down that boat on a bikini in the spring. Tell you what, I was at Talcomobile Bay, I think. I looked good, but I was also 15.
I love it.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so, I grew up right across the street from the beach. And so...
So knowing that about your dad teaches me so much about you now, too.
Put it this way. I was 16... God, Dad, you know it's true. So... I was 16 years old, and he's on the back of the boat, and he's enjoying life. And I had to drive the shrimp boat through the Old Dog River Bridge.
Okay.
And I did that fine. I was a nervous wreck until it came up to where the river shack is.
Okay.
It used to be the Beachcomber Pope Dock. And I hit it a little bit too hard. Philip came hollering, screaming at me, but yeah. Then I went to work at Quincy's.
Well, I don't know. What's Quincy's?
Quincy's is a restaurant. They had the best yeast rolls. Where Naaman's is on Duffin Parkway now.
Okay.
It was there.
Interesting.
That's the old Quincy's building.
Nice. Yeah, that was probably predates my time here in Mobile, but...
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I predate you.
A little bit. Not much, but a little bit.
Best job ever, bartending. And that's probably how I'm going to end up.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Interesting. I don't see that for you, but okay.
Oh, no, I'm fun. I'm a great bartender.
I can see you as a bartender, but I just don't see you as the bartender. I see you as the person owning the bar that stands behind the bar and tells the bartender what to do, but you're hanging out there having fun like the bartender would, just not having to do all the bullshit that the bartender does.
Oh, and bullshitting? Oh, no, I make mean drinks.
Oh, I bet you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. So... Now, if you were talking to someone who wanted to get started in running their own business, what's the one bit of wisdom that you would tell them?
Make sure you got a lawyer, a banker, and a CPA.
I have heard that so many times, and it has, short of the CPA, it has saved my ass in a number of different ways. So if you've not heard that before and you're just hearing that for the first time, by all means, listen to what she just said. Lawyer, a CPA, and
a banker.
The banker is going to give you money, a CPA is going to tell you where it went, and a lawyer is going to help keep you out of trouble, because lawsuits and shit like that is, not fun.
Not where it went. Yeah,
CPAs do.
CPAs do.
Where it went.
I'm taking a different. I took a step to the right and turned in the other direction.
I know that you would have done it differently, but I'm just saying most CPAs are going to help keep you out of trouble with the tax man.
Well, perfect example. So you're going to get a business. So what do? You get an LLC. Why? Because you see LLCs everywhere. Everybody gets an LLC.
Yeah.
You're going to totally screw yourself on taxes if you're successful, if you do it taxed as an LLC.
Yeah.
Well, and the lawyers don't tell you. You can't have one without the other, the banker, the lawyer, and the shoemaker, and everybody, because a lawyer doesn't know that once he files it in probate and Secretary of State, if you don't fill out and pay the privilege tax return, you're going to get a $50 penalty in the mail. Mm-hmm. It's all these inner workings. There's too many variables. Everybody wants a piece of you.
Yeah.
How many people start a business and don't realize that Mobile County wants to tax you on your assets in your company? Yeah. And you got to file it.
Yeah.
And it's paid in arrears.
Yep.
So yeah, all the little stuff.
Yeah, it is extremely helpful to have other people that are more up to date on all those things and can keep track of it. Because as a business owner, there's certainly no way that you can. Any books, podcasts, people, or organizations that have been helpful in moving you forward?
Yeah, podcast. Love podcast, but I like to hear from different ones on the same topic, because I don't buy anybody's just one story.
Different ones, same topic. Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to look at the different perspectives, because ain't nobody gotten everything right.
So what are, give me one or two podcasts that you listen to on a regular basis?
Right now, the political Russell Brand.
Okay.
Tim Pool.
Okay.
Tells a lot about me.
Yeah.
Probably more than I really want people to know. And I love the book Traction. Mm-hmm. When our old podcast, Katie and I were doing together, Katie's my daughter, and I'm so proud of her. And I learned a lot from her. Mm-hmm. She's taught me. When we first started the Cheers to Business podcast, somebody had heard it, a financial advisor here in town. He texted me, he said, "Have you heard of the book Rocket Fuel?" And I said, "No, what are you talking about?" He said, "Get it. That's you and Katie." And what it mainly says is that every visionary needs, what's the word?
Needs an implementer. It's an implementer.
Yeah, but it's a different word for it, but you're right, implementer.
Yeah, it's implementer, because I've got we're reading the book right now.
Oh, so, cool. Yeah. And so the pros and cons of each, because I'm a big visionary and I'm big picture, but I've got to have people around me that'll go in those trees and identify the leaves.
Yeah.
I can look at that forest and say, you got a problem right there.
Yep.
But to drill down in the details drives me insane. I'm not good at it. And I was a CPA, and I'm not good at details. Yeah. And I just get bored. It's tedious. Yeah. I could never do audits. I hated them. But you need those people to go down in the leaves. And I'll tell you, Danielle is my right hand assistant in the courier company, the co-working space. My brother runs our business in Fairhope. So and that team over there is amazing.
She's glossing over the fact that she owns not only the consulting and the bookkeeping and the payroll, we mentioned a couple of properties. We won't go into that again because I know you can't get into it too much. Yeah, but then also there's an engine manifold company over in Fairhope that makes engine manifolds for boats that aren't manufactured anymore.
Boats.
It's not just boats.
No. Here's the backstory, real quick. In 1996, my brother, something like that, went to work. He's a mechanical engineer. He went in the Navy. We all did stuff so we could go to college.
Yeah.
My sister's teacher. None of the relatives thought we would turn out as good as we did. Yeah. And we're still very tight to this day. We'll all get together this weekend.
That's awesome.
So He's mechanical engineering. He went to work for this company. Well, I had started in the CPA firm, Sermon Franklin Pulaski, and I'm very sad to say that Mr. Pulaski died recently, and he was a friend to me. We were better together, not business married. And, but yeah, about 2 years into it, the owner wanted to get onto QuickBooks. He said, my sister does that. And from then on, I was their CPA.
Oh, wow.
So after, I was their CPA 16 years. So we've owned that business 8 years now.
Oh, wow.
Her and her husband wanted to leave the country. They live in Panama now. So I said, what do you want to sell for? I said, sell it to Mark. No, I need your business sense on it. I said, sell it to both of us? And I said, well, I'll come back in a month. You tell me how much you think it's worth, and I'll tell you how much I think it was worth. Yeah. Well, my number was higher than hers. And she said, why would you do that? I said, because this is what I think it's worth. Yeah. And if I shave $1 for the sake of $1, somewhere it's going to cost me 10. Yeah. You can't do that in business. You have to be fair.
The higher number?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No, it's right.
Yeah, that's amazing.
No, don't ever call me sweet. Yeah.
But I mean, like that just like blows me.
Well, here's how. Anyway. I took her number, figured out a way with interest. If she financed it over 10 years, she'd end up with my number. It's fair all the way around. Yeah. And in 2 years, that business will be paid for.
Nice.
And so he's always been there. We have my brother. This is how proud I am of him. You know the Black Pearl in the pirate movies? Yeah. He redesigned that exhaust system. Because on the movie screen, looking at it going, there's no exhaust back then in those days. Yeah. So he redesigned it to come out the back end, and it's our parts in it.
That's hilarious. I had no idea.
And we do mainly manifolds and heat exchangers. Yeah. Agricultural. The muffler in a city in Alaska we made from scratch is bigger than this room. Think about it. How big is a generator got to be to support a city?
Yeah, that's huge.
Right?
Yeah, no doubt.
We're global. We're very little local. In fact, I brought the sales tax to filed the sales tax, and I think we collected $156 in the last quarter for sales tax. That's how little we do locally. Yeah. Nigeria, China, we go all over the world. Yeah. But agricultural, John Deere parts, some space stuff.
Really?
Yep. We have parts in Disney rights.
That is so cool.
Yeah. Because we make those people in the back, and our supervisor back there is a woman. We've had 3 machinist welder of the team, and they're artists. Yeah. College is not for everybody just because I went.
Over and over and over again. If you've listened to this podcast, you hear that over and over and over again.
It's true.
There are people that have sat in that seat being interviewed, and they have been not even to high school, or they've been to high school and finished or dropped out, or they've been to college and dropped out or graduated, or they have graduate degrees. There is no recipe that you can push a kid through as far as an educational system that will guarantee their success.
No. Plus, are they doing what they love? Yeah. All right, so I truly believe that everybody's given a God-given talent.
Right.
And if you're not doing that talent, you're not going to be truly happy.
Yeah.
And you are working.
Yeah. Yeah. I 100% get that. And I understand the intent with what because it seems easier if it's something that is within your wheelhouse, that's within your skill set, that you're gifting, if you will. So
you have to feel productive at the end of the day.
What's the most important thing you've learned about running a business?
Listen to your people. I know that sounds cliche, but it's the truth. Yeah. It is. You're nowhere without your people.
Right. Especially right now.
Well, and it goes back to, every tragedy has an opportunity. Mm-hmm. I said it at the beginning of COVID on the podcast. I said, you people got to stop crying. Yeah. Pull your panties up, people, because where's there an opportunity? Yeah. Well, that's how the courier company was born. Yeah. I was doing some fractional CFO work for a guy who had a little toxicology lab. Yeah. We turned it into a COVID lab. Now it's a full molecular lab. And I work myself out of jobs a lot of times, and I'm fine with that. Yeah. And so, he needed a courier company. I said, dude, get a courier. open up a courier company. He said, I ain't doing that shit. You do it. And I said, all right. So that's how Medco Logistics was born. It grew to the height of COVID with 33 drivers all over the Southeast. It was insane.
Just a little side project.
Well, it's kind of like hurricane money. And so then it's still alive. We only have 2 routes, just because it's not that much now.
Yeah.
And I rebranded it when I saw the COVID, because I always thought COVID was bullshit anyway. And I'm very sorry for everybody that died. One of my friends died.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting the shot and I'm not wearing a mask. So I don't care what you say.
Yep.
But in seeing all that, the illogicalness of it, and then so when I saw it starting to go down, quote unquote, I rebranded it to Runner for Hire.
Okay.
I always needed a runner. Well, now you can't get anybody, if you couldn't get anybody to work, or they didn't want to, you need stuff needs to move back and forth.
Right.
A lot of it's electronic now, but banking thing.
Well, especially your CPAs, you need paperwork and stuff like that.
Right, but it's never picked up. So my slogan was, we're the DoorDash for businesses, will pick up or deliver anything but your kids or food. It's never caught on. Just never caught on. So, that's not a big, important area in my life. That's something that came up. I'm very fortunate. Yeah. One of the drivers that's with me now since the beginning.
Yeah.
And
I just think it's interesting how you have a very good knack for seeing opportunities and kind of knowing what it's going to take in order to make it a viable business and not just something that, piddles along forever and doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, and you got to know when to get out.
Yeah.
At what point do you cut your losses?
Yeah.
And if it's not working, pivot. You got to be a Roomba, man. I mean, at every aspect in business.
Roomba.
You have to be.
Isolate that and send it to post.
It's true. I've always said it. I can tell you had to listen to my podcast, don't you?
No, honestly, I don't listen to. I listen to one podcast.
Which one?
I don't spend any time in the car.
See, I'm always in my car.
I got a new car in December, and I still haven't filled up from when they filled it up for me when I got it from the dealership.
Do you walk home?
No, but I'm like three miles from the house. Like,
See,
it takes me.
We live down at Fire River.
Yeah.
And so, I drive.
So, I mean, I
go to Fairhope once a week.
I'm in the car like 15, 20 minutes a day if I'm lucky, if I come here, so, please don't take that any other way than I just,
No, I don't. In fact, I was kidding. It didn't matter.
No, but that's hilarious. Be a Roomba pivot.
You have to.
Yeah.
If you're going to, and I made a grown man cry one time. And
doesn't surprise me.
Well, there's more than one. But anyway, so, no, this guy was on. I said, what are you doing here in my office?
Yeah.
And he said, what? I can't make a success. I need to make a success of my business. I said, but you keep doing the same things.
Right.
So you won't listen to me. So quit paying to not listen to me.
Yeah.
And he was just beat down trying to make it in this business. And he could only see it one way, and you can't. And that's why you need to be a Roomba.
100%. And it's hard being on that side of things where, you see something so clearly. For the last number of years, and let's not spend a whole lot of time on this, but for the last number of years, it's been my goal to educate people on the fact that if you own a business, you have to market it. You have to advertise it, whether it's through me or whether you do it yourself or whether you pay some big agency on Madison Fifth Avenue. Just because you hang a
shingle doesn't mean anybody knows about you.
No, people don't just automatically find you because you started a business. You have to tell them about it, and then oftentimes you have to tell them about it 6 or 7 more times before they actually, want to do business with you. And so,
how are you going to be louder than the other million?
Yeah. And so, but the thing that gets me is like the time and time again when I sit with somebody and I'm just like, man, like if you would just do X, Y, and Z, and then they make a decision, based off of, it could even be tens of thousands of dollars. But when you're talking about hundreds of thousands, it's negligible. So, and oftentimes I'm talking about thousands of dollars.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah. And so it's just kind of like, man, if you had just put this money into Facebook ads, or if you just put this money into a new website, you wouldn't have to spend so much money on SEO. Or if you put them into Facebook ads, people would know your website exists, or that your business is there. Or if you had, whatever.
Buying organic food is cheaper than a copay. Same concept.
It's funny because the podcast previous to this was, on, he's men's health and weight loss clinic. So, but yeah, no, I get what you're saying. All right, this is new. 12 rapid fire questions.
Bring it on.
You think you can do this?
Oh, I know I can.
Yeah.
I can do anything.
What's your favorite type of music?
Country.
What is your favorite?
Old rock, 80s.
What's your favorite type of food?
Steak.
Favorite restaurant in Lower Alabama?
It was Noja's, but I'm loving Grace.
Oh. Favorite city outside of Mobile?
None. Foul River. Dolphin Island. Promise.
City, well, then the next question is null. City you want to travel to but have yet to visit?
Oh, no, I love going places.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to go up in the Vermont, the Eastern, in the fall.
I have not been to Vermont, but I've been to the Northeast. Obviously I grew up there, and yes, by all means,
My
go.
sister and aunt just in September went and took the train that goes through multiple states. Yeah, I'd like to do that.
I would throw in like the Shenandoah Valley area of Virginia as another alternative to that too.
Okay.
That's also
I've been up by Asheville
beautiful.
and Biltmore and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and it was fall. That was different.
It's the same thing. Beautiful. Sorry, that wasn't rapid fire. What comes to mind when I say guilty pleasure? Keep it clean. Keep it clean.
A cheeseburger from Checkers when I got a hangover.
All right. Dogs, cats, or none of the above?
Dogs.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Favorite movie or TV show?
Gilligan's Island.
Okay.
I stop watching the news and I'll find Gilligan's Island or Andy Griffith in the morning, and that makes my day happy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Everybody's going to say Christmas because we just finished Christmas.
No, but Halloween's a close second,
Yeah.
especially if I get to wear my gorilla suit.
There you go.
That's fun. You scare them little kids and you beat your chest. You jump out at them in the bushes in the dark. It's awesome.
The idea of you in a gorilla suit. This is something that we have to talk about.
First year I got the gorilla suit, Katie was a banana, and she held up a sign that says "Eat more apples." It was priceless.
That's great. Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite cereal?
None. Don't eat that shit.
Oh, come on now.
No.
All right. That's an end
It's
of
poison. Don't eat it.
Into the rapid fire questions. What are you most thankful for?
Oh my God. I have a ritual in the mornings. And I just say thank you, thank you, thank you, and then I release whatever doesn't serve me.
Yeah.
And I am so I've never thanked God for my clients, but for whatever gifts He gave me to enable me to do what I do.
Clients, yeah.
And then that makes me thankful for what I've been able to do to get where I wanted to be. I wake up sometimes and go, how did I get here? And it hasn't been easy. Leaving the firm was awful. Starting my own was struggle. Selling what I built, and I tell you what, the licensing board for the CPAs pissed me off so bad. I said, take my CPA, and I paid $75 too much to ship them my CPA certificate in the frame. It's in the hallway. They got it in the closet somewhere. I said, keep it for $100. I can get it back, catch up on the education.
Yeah.
You can keep it.
Yeah.
Regulatory bullshit.
Yeah.
Just, it's ridiculous.
It's it's.
I wonder if I get in trouble for saying all that.
No.
Okay.
Well, if that was
You're fine. You're
if
fine.
that was a real question. No, I just I just it's so important, and I think so oftentimes we get so caught up in everything that we don't stop and think about all the things that we have to be thankful for. And over the course of the last year, with all the BS that I've been through, it's just been so impressed on me, like, what is important. And I don't know if that's me coming into, I'm getting older, and I think there are certain things that happen. You hit 35, 40 as a guy, you start thinking about the temporariness of life, and everything that I own, from the pen that I use to the thing that I shave with, are all throwaway things. Do I go and get a safety razor because now I have something that I can hand down to my boys? I don't. At the time, I didn't have any guns. Tradition, like, hey, I'm hand these guns down to my, I didn't have anything like that. And then you hit, 45, 50, and it's like, I don't have time for bullshit anymore. I don't want to deal with that anymore. I want to spend time with people that care about me and have my best interests at heart. And I want to pour my life into people that have this, that are those people.
When I'm around people and I hear somebody get upset about something that is so mundane, and I've actually asked, will this really be important next month? Mm-mm. Will it be important next week? Then move on.
Yeah.
Just move on.
Yeah.
And so what I've tried to do is, and it's difficult, after I found out I had the vulva cancer, I actually got down, once I thought about it, I got down on my knees on the back porch and thank God for me having cancer. Mm-hmm. So I try to remember that now when something, and shitty stuff's gonna happen in business. If you expect it to be a rose garden, you are totally misguided and you're gonna get hurt.
Do something else.
Because people are going to mess up. So my thing has always been, if you fuck
No. They won't just mess up. People will intentionally go after you to screw you.
That's true too.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's both.
Yeah.
But in the case of staff or team members,
they'll screw up. Mistakes are made.
They're going to make them. But if you tell me, I'll help you fix it. But if I get blindsided from the left by a pissed off client, why didn't you tell me what helped you fix it? Or I would have told them what happened. I'd rather tell somebody screwed up. Yeah. But here's how we're going to fix it.
Yeah.
So every time something bad has happened, and bad being, a business deal, or how about a payroll client that's been wanted by everybody and they stiff you for a very expensive payroll that costs thousands.
Yeah.
You just got to stop.
Yeah.
And you just got to stop and say, whatever reason this is happening, okay, we can.
One of the interesting things that's happened over the course of the last year is Chrissy's gotten into Joe Rogan's podcast.
I love Joe Rogan.
I know, so do I. He's interesting, and I love the long form, format. At some point in time, I'll have enough confidence in myself to, do something along those lines. But one of the things that she got out of that was the Jocko Willink video on YouTube, where it's good. Like, oh, so you didn't get that, because Jocko is a former Navy SEAL. Mm-hmm. So he's like, oh, so you didn't get that assignment. Good. Now you have time to prepare for, the next. So you didn't.
You would be killed if you went.
Yeah,
exactly.
Who knows? Yeah. So it's all these, you think about all these bad things, but they all there's some reason why those things happen. And if you said something earlier, if you just stop to look for the opportunity in that thing.
There's always opportunity.
There's always opportunity. And so, it's important to keep in mind. All right. So where can people find you?
Where can they find me?
Yeah.
I got to get some business cards or something.
That's usually helpful.
Yeah. Everybody's got my cell phone number.
Yeah.
If you want it.
You're on the socials.
I have a bio at CFOCSI.com.
Yeah.
And I probably need to update it, I'm sure. Let's see, 251-533-5775. Karen at CFOCSI.com. Karen.Simmons at payrollvault.com. Services at sweetbooksinc.com, services at runnerforhire.com, info
you can stop
at
there.
pro.works.
I think we get the point.
Yeah.
She's reachable. Do a Google search if you can't find her.
Call me.
All right. Well, I want to thank you again for coming on the podcast. To wrap up, any final thoughts or comments you'd like to share?
It made me laugh. One, thank you for having me on. I don't post a lot on Facebook unless it's business stuff, and I don't think that's the platform to know what I ate for dinner. Yeah. But anybody that wants to, you be you, boo. Yeah. Just the business people out there, just take a minute. Look around. What are your clients missing? Yeah. What are your, customers, whatever you want to call them, the people that pay you, does it have value? Mm-hmm. If you have value, I don't care if you're selling widgets or what, or marketing, or anything. Does it have value, and did you smile at them? Yeah. That personal connection of going corporate has more value now than it did 20 years ago. Yeah. I think it was taken for granted before COVID. Karen, I appreciate your willingness to sit with me and share your journey as a business owner and entrepreneur. It's been great talking with you. Marcus, thank you for having me.